Hey everybody, welcome to the gym. Where else would we be, Simon?
It's my favorite place.
Yeah, so we're both in our favorite place right now.
Home.
And I'm here with Simon Pelland. And Simon, so stoked to have you on board and part of the Conscious Counsel online legal course. We've been buddies for a while, but I think probably our first meetings might have been professional with you as a trainer. You did a class at RYU, and I've gotten to know you in a lot of different ways. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone who's watching at home or in a coffee shop or on a plane, wherever you're watching. We're bringing Simon Pelland directly to you. Tell them what's up.
Coolest guy right here. So my name is Simon Pelland. I currently own and creating an online health training business where I coach women over 40 through remote training to help them lose weight and live an active lifestyle. And I've been a gym owner, I've been a personal trainer, I've been a kinesiologist, and I'm excited to be here and share and learn and
chat and share a little bit about your experiences. So a lot of the people who are enrolled in this course are entrepreneurs or small business owners who we're trying to get them to best legal practices and getting them to a place where they can really see how much fun the law is and also how empowering the law is and how they can use the law as a tool to grow their business and basically achieve their dreams. And I feel like achieving dreams and living a life of dreams is something that you're into.
Yeah, it's all I think about. My constant goal is to be living my best life. And looking at where it's not that and looking at how I can improve that. So having someone like you who handles legal work and is relatable is so refreshing because in my experience, that's something I know nothing about, something I don't even want to dabble in, and the gap seems so large. And I've been really fortunate to have you support me in signing and creating my very first contract with my business partner when I opened my studio.
Yeah, delicious. And I think when we spoke about those terms, we were probably lifting weights, weren't we?
Probably. That's usually when we have some
that was fun, wasn't it?
Epiphany conversations and ideas pop into place as the blood's flowing,
I'm just thinking, I see a sauna. Maybe we were in the sauna, we were chatting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
So many saunas we can't remember.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's always been fun. And part of what I'm trying to show everyone who's participating in the course is like, okay, maybe we're talking about something like a co-ownership agreement or a service agreement with clients. And like, actually it's really an opportunity to express yourself and to communicate in a way that you're comfortable with in your own language, and you can have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, so what is any specifics about the course so I know a little bit about it that you're sharing?
So in basically what we're walking through people the course, what we're doing is we're trying to inform them, okay, part of it is seeing the law in a new light. Choosing how you see lawyers and law and really understanding how law is a tool to help you grow your business and achieve your goals instead of like everything that you described about what you thought the law would be.
Right.
So part of it is changing the perspective on law. Then we're getting into specifics about the importance of agreements. So written agreements, communicating openly, honestly, talking about expectations, having uncomfortable conversations first, putting all of that in the forefront so that the relationship that follows will be beautiful and self-expressed and authentic and like two people can really thrive together instead of circumventing and avoiding having a difficult conversation at the start. In addition to that, we're going to talk about corporate structure, when the right time to register a company or a limited liability corporation is, what a shareholder agreement is, what would be in that. We talk about waivers of liability, we talk about service agreements, we talk a little bit about brand protection and brand growth. So we're trying to walk all of these passionate, heart-leading entrepreneurs and small business owners through the trail of law in a really like fun and exciting way, and also have real stories from real people that they can relate to. So in our experiences working together, is there anything that you want to share that happened to you legally that maybe provided a profound lesson or highlighted a particular point, or something that you can tell other people so in the future they would know something that maybe you didn't know before you went through a process?
Right. Yeah, so like I said before, legal work was something I didn't want to touch. And I got my first kind of big contract where I was negotiating with my business partner as to how we were going to work together. And I immediately went to you about it, and you were able to set me up by having me ask questions I never even considered. Like, what would happen if it didn't work out? Or we didn't complete the term that we signed on for? Or if she did this and decided to quit, or whatever it might be. So these are a bunch of questions that I never thought of, and you made it a lot more simple. And I think the biggest benefit from us having that conversation and having you do that work with me was that your job is really putting me in a position where I can be powerful and I can have exactly what I want. And sometimes as a business professional, I'm not considering all the possible outcomes. So you helped me to see potential outcomes that I otherwise would not have seen, so that when I did leave, I didn't owe a bunch of money, I wasn't in trouble financially, and I was able to start a new adventure in an empowering context where, like you said, it wasn't like conversations being avoided, it was actually conversations being had and people being left excited about what's next, even if we were working together or not.
What is it like, describe what it's like having uncomfortable conversations and the importance that it plays both in law and in life, because I highly encourage people all the time, like usually it's an indication that you should be talking about something if you feel like burying it. And it doesn't have to be in an offensive way or in a malicious way, but especially in a business relationship, I'm trying to teach people to embrace open and honest communication and bringing that at the start of a relationship instead of waiting for something to build.
Yeah, well, at the start, you're really setting the precedent for how it's going to go. So if steps are skipped in that start, more and more steps are going to get skipped as we go along. And I think you're exactly right. As soon as you feel that there's an uncomfortable conversation that you don't want to have, that is the conversation to have. That's like your red light flashing, like time to talk about it. And the longer you bury it, the harder it becomes. So that happened for us, because for me, I'm just opening up first studio with my business partner, working together to create this new brand. I got so excited and I'm so floored by what's next. I'm not even considering the possible challenges. Yes, yeah. I'm like blinded. It's like first love, right? You're like so excited and you don't even see any of the car accidents along your way to this beautiful trip. But there's stuff going on around the sidelines that I needed to be made aware of, and you helped me ask those questions. And I still was naive to Corey, I have some regrets on that. He pointed out some important parts to me that I didn't completely listen to, so having those difficult conversations are key, and you provide that to be a exciting and fun opportunity rather than like, oh, this is the part that sucks and I don't want to do. And really what it comes down to, what I hear in the background is the best result is that you're setting us up as professionals to have our backs covered. And if our backs are covered, we're free to work even better and give better results, which is just awesome.
Can you talk a little bit about the importance in your experience in business in a variety of contexts? Because I know you've worked at a bunch of different gyms, you've been an owner of a gym, now you've got your own online business. How important is being authentic and real in the conversations that you have with people? I heard you acknowledge that, if something is difficult to talk about, it's probably an indication I should bring it up. But throughout all communications, the importance of authenticity and using your own voice and really making sure what you're saying is how you're really feeling.
I think it's the most important thing. If you don't say what's authentic for you in that moment, you're not going to have a wonderful relationship. It's just not going to be there. And it's going to be built off of distrust. So as soon as you can be authentic with people, suddenly this trust grows and creates a better working relationship.
Can you think of an example in your business where being authentic in your communications paid off?
Yeah. So when I was negotiating my contract with my business partner as we were opening up the studio, I was nervous about my worth. I wasn't sure if I was worth it, what I was asking for. And I just stuck to my guns and was like, I have done this, and I'm declaring a promise that I'm going to deliver on X amount of clients and X amount of hours. And I stood my ground. And because I stood my ground, I got exactly the contract I wanted. And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't authentic for what was there for me. And I have shared that I've been scared, that I'm not sure what I'm capable of, and I'm not sure if it's going to work out, and we're going to be here as a team, and we're going to work together. And so if we have that authentic communication already there, being a team's much, much easier and much more effective.
And one thing, just to acknowledge your value, my whole Google review idea for Conscious Counsel came because you were at a place and you're like, we've got a goal, we're going to get 55-star Google reviews by the end of the month. And I remember you were just like, you were so driven, you were so lit up about it, and that inspired me to go off and get reviews, which has been really helpful and also keeps me accountable with my clients to make sure anytime I'm interacting with someone, I'm going to give them 5-star service and nothing less.
Yeah.
And the value that you brought to that particular business and to your business now is so important. In that same vein of authenticity, I know your lifestyle changed, or the things that you wanted for your lifestyle changed, which took you to a new direction. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that decision came about and how you communicated through that?
Yeah. So a year ago, I was creating a brand with my business partner, and reopening a health studio where there's personal training, life coaching, nutritional coaching, and group fitness classes. And it was a ton of work, and it was super exciting, and we had all these different projects and color schemes and logos.
Love colors.
Love
colors. So many colors.
10 different class styles, and so fun. And we grew this business by we started out from our first month for the following 6 months by 400%, and it was amazing. And it was super exciting. But I found for myself, I didn't see it as being sustainable for the lifestyle that I really want to have. And the lifestyle that I really want to have is someday I want to get married, and someday I want to have kids, and I want to be the kind of dad that can take his wife out on a weekday and not be training someone right there in that moment, and I can pick up my kids from school and take them to school. And that honestly is my biggest motivator. And thanks to people like yourself and other people I've met through retreats around the world, I have been inspired to take my business completely online. And so I was very nervous to have that conversation with my business partner because I promised her a minimum of 2 years. And I was about to break that promise. So it was one of those red light, like, this is gonna suck, but hold on, I wanna be authentic, and when I'm authentic, I get to really be me, and when I'm really me, I love everything.
Yeah.
And so I went into it just like that. She's a huge person, she's a big responsible person, I'm a big responsible person, and we can be responsible for what comes next.
Yeah.
And create something brand new. So we had our conversation. I shared with her that I wanted to go online, and I wanted to be able to train people all around the world, and for them to have sustainable results and love the experience of improving their health and their lifestyle. And she could just tell in how lit up I was, that I was so excited, and that she was like happy for me. It wasn't like this disruptive breakup.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm so happy for you that you're doing this. And then it came from me like, I'm also responsible for the studio just as you are, and I'm here to support you, so it's on this growth pattern. So instead of being like, here's my 2 weeks notice, I'm out of here, it was like, here's my 3 months notice, let's make sure you're in a trajectory to succeed, and I'm in a trajectory to succeed, and we'll both be winning. And that was distinct. I did not think that was gonna go the way it was. And so now I'm doing it, and she's doing it, studio's still running, I'm doing this thing, and it's extraordinary, and I absolutely love it, and you're a huge inspiration as to why I've got to go on and do this.
Thanks. And I acknowledge you for so many things. First and foremost, I acknowledge you for having agreements in place to start, because it would have been so messy and so nasty if we tried to pull everything out and try to figure out the relationship without agreeing exactly to what the specific terms were beforehand. Mm-hmm. So like the work that we did together to set up the agreement, I totally acknowledge you for that. And also I acknowledge you for really standing up and saying the real reason about why you wanted to leave. Mm-hmm. And instead of that being a negative shade into the relationship and the communications, it was empowering for both of you.
Yeah.
And it allowed both of you to do what you wanted, but that's because you said how you really felt.
Yeah, it shifted from what could have been blame to creation, which is a totally different context for both of us. And I can't stress enough having, like when we're creating that first contract, how important it is to have like a middle person, so that when you get a contract or you get some legal documents, you're not like freaking out and mad at the person who gave them to you. Instead, I was able to be like, this is what I don't understand, this is stupid. But rather than going to my business partner and having that disruptive conversation, Corey's like, oh, this is there because of this, and this is there because of this, you might want to add this in. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then we're able to make those I don't know the legal jargon, amendments to...
Cool, I don't use legal jargon.
He doesn't actually, it makes it easy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The changes. changes.
That's it. See,
Yeah.
there's a word for it.
It's helpful when it's layman.
And that's a great point that you bring up, and it's going to fit into the module or the lesson that I do on negotiations. Because two things happen. One is that most likely the lawyer for your business partner provided that agreement to her, and then she didn't really go through it with a fine-tooth comb, was like, oh, my lawyer drafted this, I don't understand these words, I don't know what they mean, so I'm just going to send them to Simon. So one, there's like a miscommunication in the sense that now you're reading something that isn't the true intention of your possible partner. And then secondly, this is what people always forget with agreements and negotiations. At the beginning, people will go, they'll shoot for the moon, and they will be so shocked if you agree to everything. But a lot of people have this feeling like a limiting feeling where they think, oh, well, I've received this document, it's the contract, I'm not allowed to say, hey, I disagree with this, or I'm angry about this, or I'm upset, or I don't want this. And it's always so much more powerful for people to be the ones presenting the agreement themselves, because they're like, hey, this is my best case scenario for you. Like, if you sign this, that's so rad, and I don't expect you to, because there should be pushback on these couple of things. And going through that process with you, I was like, dude, don't take it personally.
Right.
This isn't about you. This is a templated agreement that probably your partner really
Best case for them.
Best case for your partner, and that's why you always work with a lawyer to help advise you, or work with someone who understands contracts. But in addition to that, they're just asking for as much as they can possibly ask and seeing what they can get away with.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people, like, responding to agreements or negotiating an agreement, it's expected. And it doesn't mean that if you're a people pleaser or if you're trying to keep everyone happy, you can still do all of that and stand up for your own rights and stand up in your own best interest. And that's why, like, the law is empowering. Realizing that you can stand up and be like, actually, 10 vacation days a year doesn't work for me. And I understand you put it in a piece of paper, but actually I need 20 or whatever it is. So choosing to see agreements in a different way, where it's more of a dialogue instead of, oh, I received the contract from the other person, it's set in stone, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, no, we changed like 4 or 5 things with our agreement because of what you shared with me, and then I was able to get exactly what I wanted, she was able to get exactly what she wanted. And so we were set up powerfully to go forward and create this business versus this thing on our shoulders being like, I feel like I'm getting ripped off, but still creating a business, it wouldn't get to be its full self-expression, its full self.
Self-expressed. Do people tell you, like, do people give you the vibes of puppy energy? Like, does anyone describe you as a puppy?
Me as a puppy?
Yeah.
No.
You're how tall are you? You're 6'6"?
6'7".
You're 6'7", but you're just like, when you get excited, I just get like puppy vibes. If you had a tail, your tail would be wagging a lot. Your tail would just be
all the time.
Wagging, licking faces probably.
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
all of those things. Just like super happy puppy.
Absolutely.
Simon, is there anything else that you'd like to share with people about anything we've spoken about, or anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, just in this course that you're taking on, I trust this guy 100%. And I'm sure you trust your business partner, whoever you're working with right now. But whenever that trust fails, and I promise you it will fail at some point, this legal work, this assistance, is what is the wall holding your back up. So I highly recommend you do your due diligence and ask the questions and have those difficult conversations, because when you have those, you're going to get to have the dream business that you want. And be protected and be able to create whatever's next for you in an amazing context. And I highly recommend working with this gentleman, as you may already have.
Thank you for those words. And I just want to piggyback a little bit. What I love about what you said, and what I always tell clients, is 99.9% of problems will be circumvented if you communicate openly and honestly. And I think you're a testament to that, and all the respect. And I feel like we should probably just lift some weights now. I think, like, we've done our little spiel, so why don't we...
We didn't do any curls recently.
Cool, let's go do bicep curls. Okay. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Here we go.
Thanks for having me.
Derico, what do we say? One shot Corey, one shot Simon?